into that Team Impulse win.
Thank you, Freak. And as he mentioned there, with that win, Liquid actually clinches their spot. But for Impulse, they're tying themselves up here with TSM. So making some moves, some necessary moves when it comes to that playoff race. But looking at how they got there, this was actually a pretty close game for quite some time between Impulse and Teammate. And I want to look at Rush, because we always talk about how he's the catalyst for Impulse, getting their early leads and, you know, basically enabling their aggression that they can normally run with to victory.
I mean, I really do like what Teammate did in picks bans in this game and the idea that they had. They saw yesterday how effective the double globals were that Impulse used yesterday, and they tried to take it away for them. They took it away, first 2 picks. That was great. They were able to use it, you know, really early on to get the first kill on the top lane, get Calitrolls going up there. And also, it made Rush change his playstyle. That Rush that you're looking for that makes all these early plays across the map and goes for all these early ganks, he decides not to go for those because there are all these globals that are going to counter him. And so it forces him more into controlling dragons and stuff like that.
And it's actually one of the few times where we saw Team Impulse adjust their playstyle to suit the situation. Like, Rush didn't overly force against Twisted Fate Shen. He was never really punished, and it ended up turning it into this really weird game because it was about 1,000 gold, 30 minutes in difference.
Baron Steals is the play of the day.
Right, Baron Steals are play of the day. I mean, if that didn't happen, maybe Team Impulse closes this earlier because it did seem like they ended up having control of the game. But yeah, just a strange game. It felt like Teammate did actually outdraft Team Impulse in that sense because they built a composition that would slow them down. But at the same time, it was kind of inevitable. Tip was a better team at the end, and Teammate didn't really know what to do when they started grouping.
Yes, I want to explore this a little bit more, and recognizing the fact that, as you mentioned, Kobe, Tip did make the adjustments. They realized what they're up against and did change their play style, which is great. I'm kind of wondering if Teammates' approach through Champion Select and their overall strategy is something that could be Tip's downfall when executed, you know, by a better team down the line, let's say in playoffs.
I mean, probably. I'm noticing a few trends from Team Impulse. Rush's picks during their 5-game winning streak, Lee Sin, Nidalee, Nidalee, Lee Sin, Lee Sin. I feel like there's a pattern there. Last time in playoffs, he was pushed towards tanky junglers if the patch favors it. The patch doesn't really favor Lee Sin now. It maybe favors Nidalee a little bit. I think they're definitely attackable.
Yeah, it was very easy. Like Teammate, I really did like, you know, what they went after. They banned away the Nidalee to force him onto Lee Sin. And they're like, we're going to first 2 pick the double globals. Yeah. They had a perfect game plan. They also banned away the Sivir, which we keep pointing out, and ball games get in every single game, but it didn't matter. The Corki was pretty solid. Great for him.
Yeah. Now, to your point too, Jad, about this kind of devolving into a weird game state, I do want to pull up our replay, which is the final fight of the game, 39 minutes, because the game ended very abruptly in a very anticlimactic situation.
Yeah, and this is something that was supposed to be Teammate's strength, was late in the game with shot calling and trust and friendship, Teammate was supposed to be able to prevail because they actually make it to this point in this game. And here we just see Impact as the one that catches a teammate that is completely out of sorts. Calitrolls is here. The rest of his team is not ready to back him up. He just turns tail and run. The way Xiao flanked around the top actually prevented any of the teammate squishies from coming down and protecting their tank. But then once the tank is gone, because instead of turning tail immediately, Teammate can then get chased down. Rush suicidally goes in just to kick Yen into an obscure spot on the map. Rise goes in to finish him. That happened multiple times during the game. And that was just Team Impulse having a goal and Teammate not having a goal.
Yeah. And I like that Team Impulse has showed so many more faces for their team. You know, last week they came back from a big goal deficit. They stayed calm under pressure and they were able to play defensively. This week, they were able to adapt to people attacking their specific playstyle by taking meta picks. They took the Rise, super high priority, very high damage champion right now, and the Alistar, and they used it really well. That Alistar, a lot of work for zoning for them and winning the team fights. If you take away all the globals from Tip, then they play the really strong team fight squad, and if you mess up and you give them those fights, then...
Yep, as we've mentioned, Tip kind of making their resurgence at the right time here at the end of the split. We'll see if they can continue that trend. Now, there's still one more game left to play, and we'll be bringing you Counter Logic Gaming versus Team Dragon Knights when we come back. Don't go anywhere.